Okay, I just got back from John Wick 4 like a few minutes ago. I out the shower and here's a mess, but let's get on with this review. Non-spoiler section. John Wick 4 is so fucking good, like wow. Just when you think they couldn't amp up the action and the cinematography and all that other element up any higher, they do. And I'm just like, wow, holy crap, dude. These action set pieces and the storytelling, the visuals too, the cinematography, I'm just like, man, they really knocked out the park here. Like, I was hyped for every action set piece that was gonna go down. Like, there will be moments where I remember from the trailer, like, oh, that's about to happen. Oh, that's about to happen. I was just ready for it. Like, even if it's gonna be predictable, I'm just like, I'm all ready for it. Let's go all in. This movie's even made better by the extra cast they got in it, like Donnie Yen, Scott Adkins, Hiroyuki Sanada, and like just stellar. It is such a fun and wild ride that if you go watch this without the context of part 1 through 3, it's still a fun and exciting action movie. But if you've watched part 1 through 3, then all that context put together into part 4 makes it so much satisfying to watch. Now, what would I rate it? I want to give it a 9. I feel like that's being too generous, but I'm just going to give it 8.5 out of 10. The storytelling is very simple. The visuals, cinematography, and how it was filmed is very how would I put this? It's very interesting, but I can't say too much without giving spoilers. But cinematography gets video game-y, and that's all I'm gonna say. The biggest highlight for me is Donnie Yen's character. Like, we all know John Wick's the titular character. He's gonna be a badass and all that, but Donnie Yen really stood out to me in this movie. All my previous theories I had on the trailer breakdown stuff, some things came to light, some things didn't, but I was still left surprised even when my predictions were wrong. And yeah, that's all for non-spoilers. 8.5 out of 10. John Wick 4. Go check it out. John Wick 4 is, just almost the perfect conclusion to his story. I thought they were gonna fake us out and have him be like alive somehow when we see his gravestone, but I'm actually glad they actually let him rest in peace. So, which means if he shows up in Ballerina, the one with Ana de Armas, then it's probably gonna take place either before part 1 or it's gonna be, I don't know, maybe between, but most likely before John Wick 1. And man, Donnie Yen is such a highlight in this movie. I'm actually so glad that Chad Stahelski actually managed to weave him into the story and then make him part of John Wick's story. And I'm just like, wow, that is crazy. Especially when you have him as the the guy that's going to kill anybody by any means with anything they give him in order to help his daughter. So then you have that motivation of, oh, you want to see John make it through, but then you also don't want Donnie Yen's character to die either. And I think they ended it very satisfyingly for both parties who don't know which side to choose. The first action set piece is probably my most favorite action set piece, just because it has to do with all that all that Japanese imagery in the background, all those fights, especially that nunchuck fight scene. And I'm just like, man, seeing Keanu do all that nunchuck work behind the scenes, I'm like, man, he got angry. Like, it was that frustrating, but I think it turned out really great. Like, wow. I didn't, especially, when he's like flipping around, then he puts it back around his neck and goes back into combat. And I was like, that is awesome. Another set piece that I actually thought was cool was around the inside the picture here, I forget what it's called. John actually driving a circle around like the bad guys, and then the camera follows him and it's like a whole 720 360-ish. I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. And don't even get me started with a Dragon's Breath from the top video gamey action set piece. I mean, that was so awesome. That felt like something straight out of Black Ops, especially like Black Ops 1 when you get the Dragon's Breath Spas 12. That's what it felt like. And then you had that music of La Castlevania. I'm probably saying it wrong, but right here, down here, so it's correct. And then it has, the callbacks to the music to part 2, and then have him shooting with the Dragon's Breath shotgun, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is so cool. And then, seeing him do that top-down cinematography almost makes me ready to see what he's going to do with Ghost of Tsushima when he actually does adapt it to live action. And then the other action set piece that I thought was pretty cool was the 212 steps or 202 steps, whatever, the steps to the church. I'm just like, I'm cringing every time every stunt actor falls down the stairs, because I'm just like, I'm starting to feel all the hits too, because it just, I mean, there's something about up close gore, but then just like solid ground falling onto it. I'm just like, Oh man, that must fucking hurt, dude. Oh, or I don't know. I can see it already becoming a meme. You know, when John gets all the way up all those stairs and then only to get kicked down, and then he just falls back down. And first you're a little pained, but then afterwards you just have to laugh at that him getting kicked and falling down the stairs, and it goes from painful and then just funny. I still rate this 8.5 out of 10. It's a perfect conclusion to John Wick's story. And, you know, I hope they don't resurrect him or do anything else that's crazy. I think this is the perfect way to bookend his character arc because, you know, part one has him mourning the loss of his wife and then the dog. And then part two is him being thrown back into the criminal underworld when he thought he got out. Then part three is him facing those consequences and trying to get out of it. And then part four is going to be him facing those consequences head on with a, you know, the high table rules and all that with a duel. It makes me wonder what they're going to do with the spin-offs. I'm pretty sure the spin-offs are going to be like, you know, other characters and also the TV show about the Continental, probably like a young Winston and Sharon. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. Like, man, it was hard to watch Sharon die because, you know, the actors really passed away in real life. So, but I did like that they memorialized him, and it's, yeah, rest in peace, Lance Reddick. And yeah, that's my John Wick 4 review. 8.5 out of 10. Definitely a perfect conclusion. And just go check it out. I mean, even if you haven't seen the other movies, this is just a great, you know, turn off your mind and watch the action. But then when you're invested into the story and you're invested into how they do all these stunts and all these choreography behind the scenes, and then you get yourself into it, you're really going to love it.